February 29, 2026 did not arrive with explosions or alarms. It arrived with a pattern, a shape so precise that it immediately challenged everything we thought we knew about how the universe behaves. For centuries, astronomers believed nature preferred chaos over perfection. Asteroids tumble irregularly. Comets shed debris in wild, uneven plumes. Nebulae twist into messy spirals shaped by gravity and chance. The cosmos, as we understood it, was beautiful precisely because it was imperfect, but at 8 UTC this morning, that belief fractured. The James Webb Space Telescope transmitted a sequence of images from its observation of the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas, and within minutes, theoretical physicists around the world realized they were no longer studying a natural phenomenon. What Webb revealed was not a drifting cloud of ice and dust. The debris surrounding 3I Atlas had reorganized itself into a rigid, flawless equilateral triangle. To the untrained eye, it looked strange. To a physicist, it was impossible. According to every known model of fluid dynamics, material released from a comet should be torn apart by the solar wind, stretched into a chaotic tail by streams of charged particles pouring off the Sunday. Instead, billions of microscopic silicate grains and ice crystals appeared frozen in place, as if pressed against an invisible boundary. They were not dispersing. They were being held. Quantum analysis deepened the mystery. Measurements suggest the surrounding space itself has been locally warped, forcing matter into a geometric lattice with internal angles accurate to within 1/100th of a degree. This was not gravity behaving strangely. This was spacetime being engineered. In string theory, we describe the universe as a sea of vibrating filaments, normally producing random quantum noise. But when a system is driven at exactly the right frequency, order emerges. On Earth, sand scattered across a metal plate forms crisp geometric patterns when exposed to precise vibrations. What we are seeing around 3I Atlas looks exactly like that phenomenon, scaled up to cosmic proportions. For such structure to exist 240 million kilometers away, there must be an active signal. And there is. The Deep Space Network antenna in Canberra detected a steady, low-frequency hum emanating from the center of the triangle. It is not background radiation. It is not solar interference. It is a controlled carrier wave. When analyzed against the Kardashev scale, this signal pushes us beyond discovery and into first contact territory. A civilization capable of generating this effect would need energy on the scale of an entire star. The shape itself may be the clue. In higher dimensional physics, we know that objects existing beyond 3 spatial dimensions would cast simplified shadows if they intersected our reality. A 4-dimensional tetrahedral structure passing through 3-dimensional space would appear as a perfect triangle. This raises a disturbing possibility. 3I Atlas may not be a ship moving through space. It may be a higher dimensional anchor intersecting it. Thermal data reinforces that conclusion. If this object were a natural body, its temperature should hover near -200 degrees Celsius. Instead, the James Webb's mid-infrared instrument shows the triangle's edges glowing at nearly 4,000 Kelvin, close to the surface temperature of the Sunday, yet the interior remains frozen. The heat is confined to the perimeter, contained by what appears to be a powerful magnetic structure. The result is a plasma lattice shield, a boundary that burns with nuclear-level energy while protecting what lies inside. By 1:40 UTC, the ALMA observatory confirmed the geometry was no longer stationary. The entire triangular structure had begun rotating against the solar wind at roughly 400 meters per second. Under normal physics, centrifugal forces would tear a cloud of this size apart instantly. Instead, the structure tightened, grew brighter, and stabilized further. Something was actively maintaining it. Then came the moment that ended all remaining doubt. At 4:30 UTC, a coherent beam fired from the triangle's center. It did not spread, it did not weaken. It tunneled through space-time itself and struck Saturn's moon Enceladus with surgical precision. In response, every geyser on the moon's south pole erupted simultaneously, releasing more energy in seconds than humanity consumes in a year. This was not an accident, this was a connection request. Statistical analysis places the odds of a natural explanation at 1 in 8.4 trillion in scientific terms. That is certainty. The comet hypothesis is over, and as neutrino detectors began registering prime number sequences embedded in ghost particle bursts, a far more unsettling realization took hold. Nature does not broadcast primes, intelligence does. As February 29, 2026 continues, the triangle has now stopped rotating, it has inverted, and at its center, a hexagonal void has opened, swallowing light itself. LIGO has detected a gravitational wave, originating not from deep space, but from inside our own solar system. It is directional, it is coherent, and it is aimed directly at the Sunday. The signal has been sent. And for the first time in recorded history, the sun has responded. The solar corona has begun vibrating in perfect synchronization, locking into a geometric standing wave as if recognizing a familiar key. 3I Atlas is no longer drifting. It is accelerating toward the solar North Pole. The moment of closest approach is coming. And whatever message was delivered to the heart of our star is about to echo through every planet in this system. The acceleration toward the sun marks a turning point. What had looked like observation is now unmistakably interaction. As 3I Atlas closes in on its perihelion, the moment of maximum velocity and closest solar approach, every major observatory shifts from passive monitoring to emergency modeling. This is no longer about what the object is. It is about what it is doing. The solar North Pole comes into alignment, and with it, the first clear evidence that gravity itself is being used as a communication channel. The Solar Dynamics Observatory records a pulse in the corona lasting exactly 12 seconds. It is not a flare. It is not a coronal mass ejection. It is a controlled oscillation, a rhythmic vibration that spreads across the sun's surface and then stabilizes into a standing wave. Simulations reveal the wave forms a 12-node geometric grid, evenly spaced, locked in place by the sun's magnetic field lines. In plasma physics, these loops are produced by the dynamo effect, the rotation of ionized gas deep inside the star. By synchronizing with them, 3I Atlas is not merely influencing the Sunday, it is plugging into it, turning a G-type star into a system-wide antenna. The gravitational wave, detected by LIGO, confirms the method. Gravity, unlike electromagnetic radiation, is not confined to 3 dimensions. It leaks into higher dimensional space, what theorists call the bulk. Radio waves bounce around inside our universe. Gravity passes through it. By speaking in gravitational harmonics, 3I Atlas bypasses every telescope and receiver humanity has ever built. It is communicating in 11-dimensional physics, using the sun as a relay. As the triangle shield brightens, sensors aboard the Parker Solar Probe begin saturating. The edges of the structure shift toward blue in the visible spectrum, a signature of relativistic Doppler effects. Local spacetime is compressing. This is not motion in the traditional sense. The data matches the mathematics of the Alcubierre metric. 3I Atlas is not traveling through space. It is riding a wave of distorted spacetime, letting the universe move around it. Then comes the neutrino spike. The European Space Agency's solar orbiter detects a flux that defies all known natural processes. These neutrinos are not random. They carry information encoded in 4 discrete states. Quaternary logic. The same 4-symbol system used by biological DNA, adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine. This is not coincidence. It is structure layered on structure. A machine that speaks in geometry, gravity, and genetics. The implication is unsettling. If you wanted to preserve knowledge for billions of years, you would not store it in physical memory. You would embed it in the neutrino output of a star, a record written into a system that will outlive planets. The sun is not just being contacted, it is being written to. At NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, trajectory analysis delivers the next shock. 3I Atlas has abandoned its alignment with the outer planets. Its path has shifted by a fraction of a degree, locking onto a precise intercept with the Earth-Moon L2 Lagrange point, a gravitational dead zone, a perfect place to park something that does not want to fall. The object is not passing through, it is arriving. Inside the triangular structure, measurements of the Casimir effect spike dramatically. Quantum fluctuations between virtual particles intensify, generating a region of negative energy density. According to general relativity, negative energy is not theoretical speculation, it is the requirement for stabilizing a wormhole. As 3I Atlas passes Mercury's orbit, the hexagonal void at its center begins to expand. What was once a shadow becomes depth. What was once absence becomes an opening. There is no natural explanation. There is no simulated explanation. This is physical engineering happening in real time inside our solar system. Humanity, still classified as a Type 0 civilization, burning ancient carbon for energy, is witnessing direct contact with a Type 2 intelligence that treats stars as infrastructure. As the object continues inward, the prime number transmissions abruptly stop. The carrier wave drops to silence. But this silence does not feel like retreat. It feels deliberate, like the pause before a final movement. Defense agencies around the world ask the same question in sealed rooms and underground facilities. If 3I Atlas has unlocked the sun, what happens when it reaches Earth's doorstep in 6 hours? The answer begins to take shape as the final phase of the encounter unfolds. By 22 UTC, on February 28, the hexagonal void at the heart of 3I Atlas stabilizes into something no astrophysical model can accommodate. Gravitational equilibrium is achieved without collapse, without radiation spikes, without mass loss. We are no longer observing a distant anomaly. We are watching space-time itself fold locally, cleanly, and with intent. As the object crosses the Earth-Moon orbital plane, the surrounding geometric shield begins to resonate at a familiar frequency, 7.83 Hz. The Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of Earth. This is not interference. It is synchronization. Theoretical models suggest this resonance match is the final stage of a capture protocol. On the Kardashev scale, a Type 2 civilization does not merely visit a planet, it integrates with it. Through quantum entanglement, 3I Atlas appears to be threading a connection between Earth and the solar dynamo. The 12,000-kilometer triangle expands outward, forming a luminous halo visible to the naked eye across the southern hemisphere. This is macroscopic quantum tunneling on a scale that, until today, belonged entirely to science fiction. The handshake with the sun was not the event, it was the power-up sequence. By tapping the solar magnetic field, 3I Atlas has accumulated sufficient exotic matter to stabilize a traversable Einstein-Rosen bridge. A wormhole. In theoretical physics, these structures are sometimes described as shortcuts through higher dimensional space, a subway system across the cosmos. And tonight, one of those stations has opened in Earth's vicinity. The evidence becomes impossible to ignore at the Earth-Moon L2 point. As the object settles into position, deep space probes experience temporal desynchronization. Atomic clocks drift by 0.04 of a second. Time itself slows near the structure. In general relativity, this only occurs near extreme mass or a functioning spacetime drive. 3I Atlas is not floating. It is anchoring itself to the fabric of reality. As its shadow falls across the moon's far side, a more unsettling possibility emerges. If a civilization can manipulate spacetime at the Planck scale, the smallest measurable unit of length, then reality itself becomes programmable. The universe becomes a projection. In that context, 3I Atlas may not be an explorer. It may be a monitor, a sentinel designed to observe emerging civilizations as they approach technological thresholds. The sequence now makes sense. The prime numbers were the greeting. The solar pulse was the power source. The arrival at Earth is the meeting. Official telemetry feeds go dark, replaced by silence from institutions that can no longer control the narrative. But physics leaves traces, and those traces tell a clear story. The geometric symbol identified by independent researchers matches theoretical blueprints for a Bifrost-type gateway, a stable interstellar bridge. As 3I Atlas completes orbital stabilization, the hexagonal void brightens into a luminous aperture. Through it, instruments detect star field distortions consistent with another stellar system thousands of light-years away. This is not a window metaphorically, it is a window literally. Humanity is no longer alone in the way it once imagined. We are no longer passive observers charting a silent universe. We are participants in a larger system, one that noticed us long before we noticed it. The music of the spheres has reached its crescendo, not as chaos, but as design. As the sun sets on February 29, 2026, our species crosses an invisible boundary. We are no longer a solitary spark drifting through darkness. We are part of an 11-dimensional structure, a symphony whose opening note has just been played, and whose next movement will redefine what it means to be human. By the time Earth's rotation carries the luminous halo of 3I Atlas across the night sky, the scientific debate is no longer about whether this event is artificial. That question has effectively been settled. The debate now centers on intent. Every dataset points to precision, restraint, and sequencing. Nothing about the object's behavior suggests randomness or haste. This is not an invasion force and not a drifting relic. It is a system executing a plan that was written long before humanity learned how to split the atom. The first clues come from biology, not astronomy. Within hours of the Schumann resonance lock, bioelectric sensors across multiple continents register subtle but global changes. Human neural tissue begins exhibiting increased coherence in low-frequency brainwaves. The effect is weak, almost imperceptible, but statistically undeniable. This is not mind control, and it is not external manipulation. It is synchronization, a nudge, not a push. Researchers describe it as reducing noise in the signal of human cognition, allowing patterns to emerge more clearly. At the same time, quantum labs report anomalies in entanglement experiments. Pairs of entangled particles show reduced decoherence when measurements are performed during periods of peak resonance with 3I Atlas. In simple terms, reality itself seems slightly more stable, as if the background static of the universe has been turned down. If space-time is a medium, then something has begun tuning it. This leads to a chilling but unavoidable realization. 3I Atlas is not here to communicate through language. It is communicating through conditions. By adjusting gravitational fields, electromagnetic resonances, and quantum noise, it is shaping the environment in which intelligence operates, not commanding humanity, not rewriting it, but creating the circumstances for a transition. Astrophysicists notice another pattern. The wormhole aperture is not fixed on a random star system. Its alignment corresponds to a region dense with older, metal-rich stars, systems likely to have hosted planetary formation billions of years before Earth existed. This is not a highway, it is a network node. Evidence suggests that 3I Atlas is one of many such structures deployed across the galaxy to shepherd emerging civilizations through critical thresholds. This reframes the Kardashev scale itself. Perhaps advancement is not purely a matter of energy consumption. Perhaps it is gated, monitored, assisted. When a species reaches the edge of self-destruction or self-transcendence, humanity, facing climate instability, nuclear arsenals, and runaway artificial intelligence, fits that profile uncomfortably well. Governments attempt silence. Media outlets struggle to frame what cannot be denied. But the sky is no longer abstract. The triangle is visible. The halo is real. Amateur astronomers confirm what institutions hesitate to say aloud. Whatever 3I Atlas is, it has chosen this moment to reveal itself. Yet there is no ultimatum, no demand, no broadcast declaring purpose. The object simply holds position, maintaining resonance, stabilizing the wormhole, and waiting. That waiting may be the message. An invitation, not enforced, but available. A test not of technology, but of collective response. Humanity has always asked whether we are alone. We rarely asked whether we are ready to be noticed. And that question carries us into the final phase of this encounter. As the first full Earth day passes with 3I Atlas anchored at the Earth-Moon L2 point, a profound stillness settles over global observation networks. The object does nothing dramatic, no beams, no pulses, no visible expansion of the gateway. And yet, this quiet is the loudest signal of all. The system is complete. Whatever preparation was required has finished. The wormhole aperture remains open but stable, its interior no longer chaotic. Spectral analysis reveals structured star fields beyond it, consistent across independent observations. This is not a tear or an accident. It is a maintained connection. A door held open deliberately. Philosophers, physicists, and systems theorists converge on the same conclusion from different angles. 3I Atlas is not here to conquer, extract, or replace. Its behavior aligns with something far older and more subtle. It is a regulator, a checkpoint, a mechanism built into the architecture of the galaxy itself. If that is true, then first contact is not a conversation, it is a transition. The appearance of 3I Atlas marks the moment when a civilization becomes visible in higher-order systems. Not because it sends a message outward, but because its internal complexity reaches a threshold that resonates beyond its planet. Humanity crossed that threshold quietly, incrementally, without ceremony. The launch of global satellite networks, the manipulation of space-time through precision clocks, the creation of self-modifying intelligence, the ability to alter planetary chemistry, each step tuned us closer to the frequencies 3I Atlas responds to. Now the response has arrived. The most unsettling discovery comes last. Analysis of the wormhole's far side suggests it does not lead to a single destination, it leads to a hub. Multiple exit vectors branch from the same higher dimensional structure. This is not a road to somewhere else. It is a map of where others have gone. We are not being summoned. We are being shown that the universe is already inhabited by systems that solve the problems we are still struggling with. Energy, stability, survival, cooperation at scale. And yet, nothing forces our hand. 3I Atlas does not approach Earth closer. It does not alter orbit. It does not intervene further. It simply remains, a constant presence at the edge of our world, as if waiting to see what we do next. That may be the final test. Do we turn inward, retreating into fear and denial? Do we weaponize what we do not understand? Or do we recognize that this moment is not about technology at all, but maturity. A civilization capable of stepping into a larger network must first decide whether it can coexist with itself. For centuries, humanity searched the sky for proof that we mattered. Today, the universe has answered, not with words, but with structure, not with threats, but with opportunity. The music of the spheres was never random. We were simply not listening at the right scale. If you want to stay informed as this story continues to unfold, if you want deeper breakdowns of the science, the theories, and the implications behind humanity's first true encounter with a higher civilization, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what happens next may redefine our place in the cosmos.